Hi, several people have asked me what they can pack to eat during their Duke of Edinburgh expedition. Now, I want to give you a few ideas. Of course, it depends on how long you are going on your camp. If you're just going for one camp, you might need a lunch, some snacks, a dinner, a breakfast, some more snacks, and maybe another lunch, depending on when you're going back. What also matters is what you have to cook with, because most people, while they're hiking, don't want to take out lots of things to cook themselves a lunch. You want to have something that you can actually be very mobile with. So I'll give you a few ideas of what I pack for myself. And here are some of the things that I pack for myself for a lunch. So the first thing is fruit. Because fruit and veg are very hard things to carry with you if you are camping and hiking. So I take some fruit with me, maybe to last me about 1 or 2 days. And then the other thing I've got is lots of muesli bars. Many people like to pack themselves some trail mix, or they want some nuts, things that they can snack on all the time as they're walking. For lunches, I like to make my lunches very easy because you're on the trail, and what I like are these cans of tuna and salmon, and they've got all different flavors these days. So what you do is you grab yourself a wrap and you just open your can of tuna, put it on there. If it's a flavored tuna, you just wrap it all up and you can eat it straight away. The cans, of course, go into the little bag and you carry that out with you to throw away later. Now, that is maybe your snacks and your lunch. But then when you get to dinner, you have to think what you have to cook with. When I take kids out and we've got a set up campsite and we don't carry everything with us, I like to have at least a kettle, and I carry these trangiers devised by the Swedish military with me, and I set them up, and you've got a fuel stove in there and you can actually boil water and cook on that. Then I also take some of these gas burners. That's usually not for a hike, but I also provide some pots and pans for students so that they can cook on them. And that is when you get to dinner, because dinner is essential to be cooked. And that is why usually what I do is I take some form of pasta, and I take that pasta with me because it's very easy to boil, very easy to handle. And then usually the thing I like to do is to take some of these cans, sometimes cans of chunky soups, or sometimes you've got chicken, different butter chicken that you also get in these cans that many people enjoy. So you've got your pasta and you just add some of this can on, and that is an immediate flavorsome meal for you, and it'll fuel you for the next day's hike. Then as you sleep through the night, maybe you want to take a few snacks for yourself, some jelly sweets, things like that. Don't take too much sweet stuff, because that's just going to absolutely ruin your metabolism and make you feel very ill the next day while you're walking. So breakfast is the next thing. As you wake up the next morning, you are going to want to eat something. Now, many people like to take some of these sachets of oats, and these sachets are very easy to handle. You just pop it into one of your cups, or you pop it into a bowl, add some hot water or add some milk, and you can then really enjoy your meal. What I like to do is I like to usually take some muesli with me, and usually in a Ziploc bag. What I do is I just take some milk. I've got some long life milk here. I just add it to it and I eat it right out of the little Ziploc bag. If I'm in a more settled camp, I'll grab my bowl, pour it in there and eat it right there. That's a very easy breakfast that doesn't take a lot of time to prepare. Now, what do you eat with? What I like to take is I want to make sure that I've got a really good sturdy cup that won't burn me when I'm drinking something. Many people buy some of these metal cups and they get incredibly hot, and that's usually where spills and burns happen at a campsite, because those metal cups get so hot. You want something maybe a little bit insulated, or maybe made of plastic, so that it won't burn you that easily. Please take with you a drying cloth and maybe a washcloth to make sure that you can wash your bowls, because you are going to get some nasty diseases if you do not wash your cutlery properly. I like some of these little cutlery pieces that you can buy at some of the cheaper shops. They're made of plastic, they fit together, and that immediately gives you a fork, a knife and a spoon. I also take a bowl and a plate with me. If I'm hiking further, usually it's just a bowl, one of these, and I hook this onto the back of my backpack, and I take a towel with me, and that's all I'll take with me on a longer hike. So this will give you more or less of an idea of what you need to take. What you need to remember is that you are going to need a backpack. If you're going on a longer hike, you're probably going to need about a 60 liter, 55, 60 liter, or even up to a 70 liter pack. But if you're just going for a day hike, you'll probably carry something like this, which is a 30 or 40 liter day pack, which is what I supply my students with all the time. And what goes in here would be all these snacks for the day that they are going to use for their lunch, and all of that goes in here, plus a raincoat, plus maybe an extra pair of socks, maybe some swim gear if you want to swim, a towel that you might need to use afterwards. Make sure that you've got a hat in, some sunscreen, and definitely a water bottle. They suggest 1 or 2 liters, at least 2 liters of water with you, especially if you're walking on a very hot day and you need to hydrate yourself all the time. So this is the one that you are going to carry on the hike itself. If you have a settled campsite that you are going to and you don't have to carry a massive pack by yourself, what you can do is grab a bag like this and pack your clothing, your clean underwear, your socks, your toiletries, everything that you don't need on the hike, go in here. And that waits for you at the camp. You want to put your sleeping bag, and if you want to take a pillow and be very luxurious, you can do that too. But make sure that you take all of these things with you. If you are going to hike in summer, make sure that you've got light clothing, that you've also got sun protective clothing, that you've got a hat on, maybe even a collar that you can flip up to protect the back of your neck. Sometimes people like to wear a t-shirt and then an overshirt for that added protection for your skin. If you're going to hike in winter, it is really important that you carry some layers. So the first layer is going to maybe be a t-shirt or a vest on your body. Then you'll have an over layer, which could be a button-up shirt or maybe a light fleece. And if it gets really cold, to have a really big jacket that you can go on as your third layer. So please make sure that you've got these different layers, because as you're hiking and you get hot, you can take some of the layers off, and then when you stop and you get cold, you can put some of the layers on again. So, and especially make sure that you have some warm things to sleep in winter. Very essential, because your body temperature drops, and if you don't have people sleeping around you to help keep you warm, it gets really cold at night. So make sure that you've got some warm clothing to wear during the night, that you've got a well insulated sleeping bag to sleep in, and that should keep you warm and ready for breakfast the next day. I hope some of this information has been helpful to you. One of the last things that I can suggest is take some garbage bags with you, the big black plastic ones, and put that inside your little backpack and pack everything in there. If you should come across some rain and it absolutely soaks you, at least you know that everything in your backpack is still dry. Have a lovely trip. I hope you enjoy every moment of it. Thanks.